Hey, this is a review of this GVM star-shaped light, which I just recently grabbed, and it is pretty cool. There are some definite places where it could be improved, but I want to share with you just kind of the basic functionality of it, and what are the good parts and what are the bad parts. First off, it's got this central ring, and when you turn it on, you'll see at the top there's a little display here. This is kind of cool. This is reading Kelvin right now, which is the color temperature, and there's a little K illuminated on one side in this with this green light, so you know that it's reading Kelvin. And you can twist the dial and go all the way up to 56, which is daylight color, kind of bluish, and you can dial it down to 32, which is tungsten light color. And one thing that's a little weird about it is that when you change the color temperature, it takes a little while for the light to kind of catch up. It's not like real time where you can kind of like squiggle it around, quickly, and it'll move quickly. I don't know whether that's really a problem. I just figured I'd mention that. But there's a little bit of a lag between when you turn it and when it changes its color temperature. If you push the rotation knob, it jumps over from the Kelvin measurement to P, which is, I don't know what the P stands for, but power, I guess. It's the intensity of the illumination. And right now it says 22, that's 22%. And you can go all the way down here. We're kind of about 6% here, 0% right there. There is a little bit of a step going from 1 to 0. It's a much bigger step than going from 1 to 2 or any of the other ones. So you can't get it super dim just before it goes off, but I don't think that's of much relevance anyway, because usually you'd want a little bit more light out of it anyway. I find for being about this distance, which is maybe 2 feet from the camera, having a setting around 22% is bright enough so it has plenty of light on the face, but not so bright that you're squinting, trying to look at the camera lens, and that's important to know because it's good to know that you can really, really ramp this thing up way past that. I'm going to go up to 100% right here. If I was standing in front of this, presenting as though I'm presenting to you right now, I'd really be squinting. 100% is too much light to be looking directly into for an actor. The way that you can use this thing, and I'll just flip it around here, you can see that it has kind of a star shape to it, and that's really intense. So I'm going to bring it down to like, I don't know, 20% or so. So it's not so glaring in our face. But it has kind of a star shape, and when you are illuminated by this, if people can look into your eyes, you'll see this kind of star pattern in your eyes. That's either a good thing or a bad thing. It's the way that it is. I kind of like it. It's kind of a neat effect, but it's a little bit unnatural in terms of if you don't want the lighting to be obvious in your scene. It's definitely very present. If you were to put some diffusion in front of it, it would get rid of that, but then it kind of eliminates sort of the handiness and the functionality of how it's easy to throw this thing up. It can also run without all of these side lights on it. You can take any number of these side lights out and it'll still operate. You can go all the way down to just having the ring. You can also take the side lights themselves. 2 of them have their own power port on the side. Only 2 of them have it. And you can illuminate just those by themselves. So that's kind of neat that it's versatile in that way. So I'm going to plug this back in and plug this back in. In terms of the weight of this and the build, how it feels in my hands, it's made of plastic. It's a little lightweight. I would feel like I'd want to be kind of gentle with this. It's not like, an ARRI HMI light where you feel like you can bang it around, although I've broken plenty of ARRI HMI lights as well. But it feels a little fragile. You feel like you want to treat it nicely. But, understanding that as a tool, I really like it. It's a really nice quality of light. And what's cool about it is that right in the middle of this ring, you can mount your camera. So I'm going to flip this around. And supplied with it is this little mounting bracket right here. And there's a little mounting screw, and you can take a camera, and there's just a little video camera here that I've got, and you can screw it right in. Now, this video camera, it's kind of low, and it is, it's a little bit, low in terms of where you can mount it in here. I think it would be really cool if this thing here, this little mounting bracket, had a spacer of some sort, so you could elevate the camera and get it more central. Kind of up in here, if they had some way of having a spacer, or where this bracket mounts to here, if that was a longer piece of metal and it could slide up and down, I think that'd be really nice, because then you'd be able to get the camera central. That's a note to GVM that would be a really cool feature. Additionally, one thing, if you're going to be mounting a camera on a tripod, and I've got a tripod right here, frequently if you're going to be shooting yourself, you may want the camera up a little bit, aiming down, down a little bit, aiming up, but you usually want to have some kind of a tilt control. If you're mounting a camera to this, it's just a light stand. You don't have that ability to do tilting. It might be a neat thing if they included maybe some kind of an adjustable arm here, where it would connect the light to the light stand itself, and you could use that to kind of tilt your camera a little bit, because I think that's a useful feature. I think people are accustomed to having, when they're having a camera aimed at a subject, to make it so the camera doesn't always have to be level. If you're kind of up shooting at someone and it's maybe a cowboy shot, kind of down to their knees or something, you're oftentimes going to want to have a little bit of angle down, so you don't have just as much room above their head as below, below their knees or below their head. So I think that would be a neat feature to add, to be able to pivot this thing a little bit. Obviously, there's ways you can kind of do it. Just, you could put a sandbag under it and give it a little tilt. But if there was a dedicated item in there that would allow you to easily kind of swivel it around, I think that would be kind of a neat feature. This is obviously made for, or not so obviously, it's made for DSLRs, where you can put the large lens through here, the camera body's up in this area. If you are a solo shooter, and I'll do these kind of how-to videos, I'll do some solo shooting. If you do that and you like cameras that have the little flip out screen where you can shoot yourself, and then on the screen to the side, if it ever comes, yeah, there we go. On the screen to the side, you can kind of see yourself, so you can get yourself framed and all that kind of stuff. If you like shooting in that way, this ring kind of gets in the way of that, because you put your camera in here, you get your view screen out, you flip it around, and then you've got the housing of this kind of blocking you. Now, that's not a huge deal. You can just grab a tripod, set the camera on the tripod, and kind of position it roughly in front. You're going to get pretty much the same kind of look. But that might be something that would be kind of cool if there was another version of this, where you could have something that if you're shooting with a camera like this, it could extend out and through, so that you could flip out your view screen and be just on the outside there. If you could have something that would make it easy to kind of extend your camera forward, I think that would be kind of a nice feature. But overall, what features they have in this, I think are really great. It's not only good as like a straight on source, and here's an image that I recorded where it's right behind the camera. You can see, it does nice, soft, even illumination of the face. That's not its only functionality. You can also just use it as a really pretty nice soft key light, and I'll just kind of demo it for you right now. I'll just get my tripod out of the way. So obviously I've got my key light here that I've been using during this video shoot. But if I put this just off to the side, this now at this point becomes the fill, and you can see that I've got some pretty nice soft light on my face, coming mostly from that star-shaped light over here. I've been shooting with it, under a variety of situations, and it's a really nice soft light. I like how you can dial it in terms of the intensity. I love that you can dial in the color. I think it's a really useful, versatile tool, and for the price, it's really inexpensive compared to a lot of other stuff. So I'd highly recommend this. The only downside of it is that it could use a little bit of working in here to make it more versatile in terms of where your camera can be positioned. It would be great if you could tilt it. It would kind of be cool if it was made out of something that wasn't plastic that you felt like you were maybe going to break. Those are the only downsides to it. Overall, I think it's a really great tool, and given the fact that it is such a low price compared to a lot of other stuff, you could buy 3 or 4 of these for the price of something else, and just, if they break, you just, pull another one out of your kit. So, there's definitely a trade-off there. But overall, really great product. I think that you would like it if you were into kind of run and gun stuff, and you want to be able to change the lighting really quickly, really versatile, really inexpensive, I think it's a pretty good product. That's it. Thanks for watching.